My shoulder started hurting just watching TV in bed. I was probably propped weirdly around the dog trying to make her comfortable,
Mhm.
and all of a sudden, I'm like, ow, oh my God, it hurts so bad. Took naproxen, couldn't wait the 30 minutes for it to kick in because it was hurting so bad. Took a Unisom, okay, like a little sleep aid Unisom, but just
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
The dose could be 1 or 2. I took 1. We are, what, 30 some hours later? I am still so
My
tired.
name is Laura. My
And
shit
I'm a
fucked up.
lightweight.
I took a Unisom. I can't function at all.
It's amazing. Like, my body is so sensitive to all the things that I'm still like, if you catch me with my eyes closed for a minute, no, I have not fallen asleep. It just is that hard to keep my eyes open today.
Mm.
Woo!
That's why I
Should have
had
a
it.
warning on that.
That's why I put the cough. They do have a warning on
Oh, they
it.
do? Do not operate heavy machinery or plan to do anything for 36 fucking hours. Whoops. Well, welcome to Pushing Past Polite, where we recommend you read the warning labels on your medications. We also talk about what matters and make the world more just. I'm Laura,
I'm Kori.
and we're so glad you're here. Keith may even join us too.
Oh, yeah.
Hi, Kip.
Yay! All right, well, first I want to acknowledge how great the last episode was with Lisa. So Dr. Lisa Mazzio, whose name I can say correctly right off the bat this time.
When she's not here.
On Unisom, I'm chill as can be. Loved having you with us. Thank you. And yeah, I've been thinking a lot about reclaiming my power and not participating in the drama of all of it, but just flipping that anger to strength and figuring out how I'm going to use it.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a good time for that, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like honing that anger into something that's more powerful and something that can be collective, while at the same time managing real life things, right? Like there is so many things that are tugging on our energy and our attention right now, things that are significant in terms of their impact for many, many millions and millions or thousands or hundreds of thousands of people. And then things are like day to day, right? That are part of our parenting responsibilities and part of our adult responsibilities in terms of sick animals and child heartbreak and play dates and allergies and
Getting the car
getting the
inspected
car
and submitting the high mileage
inspected.
form to the county
Ye-
before the taxes are due.
exactly. Yeah, like
All the
all the
things.
things. And it's like I want to encourage people to find your people. Like that is literally, you were posting about this, Laura. You had your girls' trip, which you said
Oh
was so wonderful. And I want you to talk about that a little bit.
my God, so great.
Um, but that's the kind of thing that people need to be doing to rejuvenate, right? You need to be with your people. You need to have space and time to be connecting with people who are pouring into you because there's so much that's tugging on us. And it's really important that you have 48 hours that you can get away or you take that nap instead of doing the laundry. Or you go for a walk or you talk to your friend for 12 minutes. I read something that talking to your friend for
Yes.
12 minutes can make a huge difference in all your stuff,
In your
in your
mood.
mood. Yeah.
All your stuff. It fixes the fog.
Yeah, but it just lifts you.
Mm-hmm.
And to when the person crosses your mind, pick up the phone and call them.
Mm-hmm.
Because it can make a huge difference for you both. One of my friends is going through IVF right now, and she did the implantation, and she's been kind of sharing about it on socials. And I texted her, and I was just like, "Hey, my little hormone gremlin, how you doing?
Hey there, Cagey Ragey.
Yeah,
How you
how
feeling in
you
that body?
feeling?" And I was like, "I can only imagine what you're going through being 40 something and having that hormonal experience that's going on in your body. And then you are trying to create a soft, warm, safe place for a new life to take hold and grow. And you are literally pumping your body with additional hormones to help maintain and cultivate that. And you are parenting a 5-year-old and who just
Ooh,
started kindergarten, like their school experience for the first time.
I feel like I'm getting a hot flash listening to you talk about this. I don't even have hot flashes yet, and I feel like I'm about to have
Hey,
one.
I'm pitting out over here talking about it, okay?
Little
Exactly.
fanny fan.
But I'm like, all that shit is real. So I can only empathize with you around that because all those things that you're feeling in your body when you can recognize that your mood is off and your energy is off and you're really grumpy, but you still can't manage to do anything about it, right? Like you're all regulated out.
My tools have been exhausted.
Exhausted because I am exhausted.
You thinking of her and reaching out probably meant the world.
Yeah, well, it's like I wanted her to feel like somebody was seeing her, that
Yeah.
who knows her. I've known her since I was like 10 years old. And was
Mhm.
like, "I see you, girl. Like all the things that you're feeling, I see that. I feel you. And I appreciate your willingness to verbalize it because that helps the people around you to
Know how to support
and
you.
accept you a little bit, right? Like even if they can't support it, it's like I need to just take my ass to the other room because she's not regulating herself well right now."
Mhm. Well, like you encouraged me. I'd had an afternoon where I was just in a funk, and Corey's like, "Do something for you." I was like, "I know, but the kids are home and it's a weekend. I feel guilty not spending time with them." And you said, you're like, "If you're not your best self right now for them either. Go reset so you can kind of salvage the rest of the night
Yeah.
versus just struggling through."
Right. Because it impacts everybody.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm speaking I at those examples are speaking to just, like, all the shit that's going on in our world, in our country, in our towns, in our lives, in our communities,
In our
in our
bodies.
bodies.
Yep.
We need to really be conscientious of, like, taking that time for ourselves to reset.
Mhm. Yes, whatever that looks like for
Whatever that
you.
looks like, and it doesn't have to be 2 hours, it could be 15 minutes, but it's just, like, 15 minutes of you by yourself in the cloffice. Shout out to Corinne. In the cloffice eating cookies.
What's a cloffice?
It's her closet office.
Who's Corinne?
One of my besties who
I love
who
that. I was
lives
like, did she say that? Did I miss this? Like a clawfoot tub office?
No, a
Where is
cloffice,
she?
a
Closet
closet office.
office.
That's where
I
we
got
used to
it.
do a lot of our, during the pandemic, we did a lot of Marco Polos.
Yes.
And, that was also her workspace. She had, like, set up, like, little makeshift desk stuff.
Hold on, let me move my sweaters.
Exactly, and so we would be having meetings in the cloffice.
Cloffice. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, reset is really important.
yeah.
Really important. Well,
Mhm.
I had a chance to do that this weekend and it was so lovely. These friends of mine, one I've been close with for probably about 5 years. We've known each other 20 years, but maybe we've been close for about five. And the other one, we kind of started to get close and then she moved away. And the Marco Polo of it all, to your point, that app has been magical. Where we started one with the three of us,
Mhm.
and then it turns into like if somebody doesn't check in every day, we're like worried.
Yeah.
Hey, is everything okay? I haven't heard from you today. What's going on? How was the doctor's appointment for this? How did this turn out? Blah 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 blah. And so anyway, someone got bold. I want to say it was the one who moved away. She's like, "Hey, we should do a get together for a weekend." And, that's always a hard lift, right? To figure that out, to get coverage, to think through the planning and all of that. But I said, yep, let's do it. And yeah, we met halfway. So we drove 3 hours, she drove 3 hours. We met in Raleigh, North Carolina, and we had the best time doing whatever the hell we
Yeah.
wanted. They both of them said we don't want to cook at all.
Amen.
Like no cooking. No cooking, no cleaning. So we didn't even care what the kitchen looked like at the Airbnb. We just went out to
Yep.
restaurants. And we talked and sat in our jammies. As soon as we got in the house, we'd take off our makeup and put on our clothes, our comfy clothes with those elastic drawstrings. We
Yes.
had all gone to Trader Joe's and brought our snacks. We just pulled the snacks out on the coffee table. We would snack when we wanted to, and we watched Love is Blind
Oh, you
and
guys
laughed
are
about it.
so funny.
One of them we tried to convert, and she's like, "Yeah, I don't know that I'd ever watch this again, but I'm at least invested in this group to see
Yeah.
what happens."
Yeah.
So, anyway, it was really good. It was exactly what I needed. And, two overnights and drove right back, and it was great.
Yeah.
My kids were happy to see me. They even left me a sweet little note. My husband
Oh.
survived. It was great.
Yeah.
It was great.
Of course he survived. They're his
Yeah, he
kids.
did. They are his kids, and we're past the years of like needing to wipe their butts
Yeah.
and feed them. I mean, they can feed
Yeah.
themselves. Do it.
Yeah.
You'll get
Yeah,
there. I know it doesn't feel like
we
that right
got
now, but
old
you will.
Ellie Homemaker over there.
We do. Oh my god, that kid somebody, reached out to me to sell cookie dough for, like, a fundraiser, and I was like, "My kid
Mm,
keeps me real
yeah,
stocked."
no, thanks.
She made, pumpkin chocolate chip muffins for breakfast
Ugh.
this week. Mhm. Yep. That's my kid. That's my 11-year-old on her own. She's like, "I think I just need to bake."
You
Go
know
ahead,
what?
honey.
Go ahead. Do
Go
that.
ahead. I
So
do not
my
mind.
my niece, my sister's oldest, her recharge is cleaning.
Oh, what a
Yeah,
gift.
and so she gets that from my mama. That's, like, how she recharges,
I wish I did.
yeah, I don't. I wish I had somebody who did. I just
Yes.
need that in the house. I don't wanna do it, but I need somebody in the
That's
house.
true.
Yeah.
Or I wish I felt differently about it, and then maybe it would be different, but
Yeah.
mm-mm.
It was like she there was, like, a little riff or whatever and attitudes and all this kinda stuff, and she went and cleaned for 2 hours.
I'm getting my Swiffer. If there's a riff, I'm getting the
Yeah,
Swiff.
and she felt so much better after.
I bet everybody else did
Yeah,
too. Look at that
yeah,
space.
exactly. She's like, she'll go make the beds, do some laundry, clean the bathroom. Yeah, it's like,
Yes,
I
ma'am.
just need her here and yours here, and
Mhm.
I'll just be able to relax for a day.
Eat you some cookies and
Yeah, you know?
look at your reflection in that clean mirror.
Exactly, because G loves cookies. Like, he doesn't like cake, he doesn't like cupcakes, he doesn't like he'll do ice cream and cookies are
Cookies
his
are the shit.
those are his. Jay likes, you wanna hear something interesting? Jay likes chewy candy, like
Gummy candy.
Twizzlers
Oh, that's real chewy.
and Daniel says licorice.
Oh, no, no.
I just find
Oh.
that to be fascinating, not
Well, it's how
licorice,
it's interestingly, though,
how it's
that's how it's
spelled.
spelled.
Exactly, and
I've never thought about that.
that's how he pronounces it. He was like, "Yeah, we ordered this licorice," and I was like, "You say licorice." He was like,
It sounds
"Oh, I
like
do." But that's how it's spelled. So they ordered, like, all this
hmm,
candy that's, small batch made, little
oh,
and that's
licorice. Red licorice, I do not mind. Twizzler's good. The black licorice doesn't do
mm-mm,
it for me. It's a little too bitter.
that's the anise.
Yes.
I can't
Yes.
do that. That's like rye,
Licorice.
rye bread,
I do
black.
like rye bread though, but it's not
Uh,
candy. That's the thing.
oh,
As long
yeah,
as it's not candy,
that
don't mess with me.
that taste anywhere for me.
Hmm. All right. That's a no.
Yeah, it's a hard no. The, my sister's husband, he's, like, of German descent, and so their, last name, they have, like, some liqueur that's named after them. It's a German liqueur, but it's that
Hmm.
flavor, and
It has the anise in
oh
it.
my gosh, I didn't know that, and
You're
so
like, I'm gonna yak at your family's liqueur right
yeah,
now.
when I
Did they give
taste
you some to
they
try?
gave me some to try, and I should have smelled it, I know better, but I didn't, I just took it, and I, like, had this very visceral physical
You
reaction,
like turned green.
like, tears coming out of my face, like, I turned red and started sweating, it was horrible, and my sister was like, "Are you okay?" And I was,
You're like, no, I'm not.
"Mm-mm, mm-mm,
This ain't it.
mm-mm." I didn't realize I would react so heavy to that flavor,
Were
but
his parents there and like his
no,
grandmother
no,
and the one who had
right,
designed it
the one who had
from the old
manufactured from the
country
old country, no one from the old country
in
was
her
there.
lederhosen? Very excited to see your response.
Yeah, no, thank goodness, none of that.
Good.
Yeah. Anyway,
Licorice.
I'm tired, everyone. I'm just tired right now. Like,
Hmm.
I want to go somewhere where
Warm.
it's warm, the sun is shining, but it's like where I
Come
feel
visit me. Come down here.
Oh, St. Pete. No, you don't want to go to Florida, do you? She's making a face. She's making a face. But I would see you.
Yeah. Hey,
yeah,
at least I'm like in the area where me writing letters to my congressman is doing an impact, right? Like
yeah.
I'm what
Talk
out
about
of
that.
all the people in my network, I'm the one who these letters might actually change something or
Yeah.
yeah. So,
Well, I have Republican leadership here in a lot of ways.
mhm.
Yeah, no. So have you been writing?
Oh
Are
yeah,
you calling?
100%.
What's
My messaging is just these job losses and even like the callbacks for people who are like federal employees who are
What
being
is
called back to the
that?
office, like Florida leaders probably don't understand how much of their workforce might be working remotely for some of these places, and you're going to
Yep.
lose like all these people who moved here in the wake of the pandemic might be moving out if these firings and these
Return to
funding
office.
cancellations continue. So yeah.
Well, the return to office is tricky because it depends on how you ended up out of the office in the first place. Some people were hired by the federal government to be remote employees, right? Their roles were designated as remote. But
Mhm.
some people who were already employees, their remote time is part of the telework policy. And those
Mhm.
are the people who are the most significantly impacted by the return to work order, who are using the telework policies to be able to
Mhm.
work remotely, if they were hired when being in person was an option or a possibility, right? The other thing that's people are experiencing is just like a space issue
Mhm.
because so many agencies redesigned space and gave up space because we were shifting to a hybrid and remote model, that there isn't
Where
physical,
do you put these
where do
bodies?
the
This is not
bodies
efficient.
actually go? When you were
Mhm.
saying the callback thing, though, I thought you were talking about the people who were fired, who they're
And
trying
then
to
rescinded it.
they were resenting it. They were called.
We are unfiring you. Oh, wait, you touched nuclear codes? Just kidding. Come
Oh, wait,
back.
I didn't realize that parks people did all of that.
I didn't realize that for every dollar spent, they generate so much more in income. You dumbass. This is what happens when you take a wrecking ball to something that should need a
Yeah.
scalpel.
I mean, Elon was literally on stage with a chainsaw, bragging about using a
Mhm.
chainsaw. I'm like, dude, that's how 5-year-olds approach problems, and you're bragging about that.
Elon was standing up at the center of the cabinet meeting, and he is not an elected or appointed official.
Is he not the most awkward? I'm not trying to be like body shaming, but is he not the most awkward acting person? I know he's on the spectrum, but like, man, nothing about him says cool or leadership or follow
But I
me.
feel like that's Trump too. They both are like
That's right. God.
weird dance, weird dance.
I'm
Also,
orange, comb hair wrong direction, all of it.
have you noticed that Elon has picked up a new bodyguard?
Oh
His
yeah.
Mm-mm.
2-year-old son.
Oh, thank you, yes.
Mhm.
Mhm.
It's like the guy
Uses him as a human shield practically.
literally,
Yeah, that's what I was
he's
thinking too.
always holding him, he's on his shoulders, he's always with him. Now, this is a person, if you look at things from years and years and years, is like the worst fucking dad on earth.
On Earth.
And now all of a sudden, his 2-year-old is with him everywhere he goes.
Yeah. Well, when you
Mhm.
fire thousands of people in one fell swoop, you're risking that some unhinged person is going to take that
Yeah.
personally.
And so you put your child in harm's
In
way.
Yeah.
harm's way.
Mhm.
What a fucking coward.
Mm,
It's
mm,
so
mm, mm.
gross.
All of it.
Yeah. Which is why, again, it's like the rest is important and the community is important. It's like today is February 28th and it's a blackout consumer day. And I suggest to people that I've been fasting from Target, I've been fasting
Me
from
too.
Amazon. Um, I'm working to be better at fasting from Instagram, but it's hard because that's where so much information is shared and I get so much information.
Yep.
But I encourage people to use this opportunity to find the things that you like and get them from the source.
Mhm.
Instead of ordering your pattern shampoo from Amazon, order it from Pattern Beauty or get it
Mhm.
from Ulta, right? Instead of getting your whatevers, it's like, see if Costco carries it, or just like use this opportunity to redistribute how you're getting your stuff. Amazon, I know that the convenience is something that we all enjoy and appreciate, and they're willing to sacrifice our democracy in order to provide it. So are we willing to willingly give up our rights and freedoms for the convenience of having some shit on our doorstep
Mm.
in 24 hours or 48 hours? I hope not.
No, I know. I will say, living in a rural place, I have a little bit different view in terms of like, it's not just the convenience. Sometimes it's just the only option. So I extend grace for that, but I will tell you, I have cut back dramatically. And as a matter of fact, this is my first credit card bill that's come in since the inauguration. I got to tell you, I'm not spending. I see it.
Yeah.
I see it, and it makes me I'm happy about it.
Yeah.
I'm happy about it. And I'm certainly going to participate in the economic blackout today. I did make plans a while ago to have lunch with some friends, but we're going to a local place and we're paying cash. Um, I feel like, voting, we certainly talk about in a democracy as being powerful, and it is. But you know what else is? Our money. And
Especially in a capitalist oligarch society. Yeah.
that's exactly right, and our attention, right? So this idea of the outrage cycles and the theatrics coming out of the Oval Office, that's something I can unsubscribe to in a lot of ways and hope to take some of the oxygen out of it,
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah. We have to just continue to demonstrate that we are not with this. We're not for it
in big and small
in
ways, and the little
big and
choices we
small
make.
ways.
hmm
Uh,
Well, feel free to join me on LinkedIn if anyone's bored, because I follow and comment on daily the U.S. Department of Education's LinkedIn posts, which post January 20th have been fucking bizarre. The first one started out about the merits of homeschooling. So say out loud that you don't want our kids in public schools, that you just want to have the privileged few have an education. Then you get their attack on, or them going after states about Title IX violations with transgender athletes and how they're going to crack down on this. Is this worth our time, Department of Education,
yeah.
when there's less than 50 transgender athletes across all of the NCAA? Give me a break. Then the latest one, which I responded to yesterday, was an End DEI hotline, basically, that they're putting on for people to report school districts for
Oh,
doing woke things.
yes. And so here's what I actually suggest that you do is use that number and you call and talk about
Oh, yeah.
all of the ways that the majority population in terms of societal norms is being privileged and how that is impacting the experience of everybody else. They are receiving unfair advantages, and I would be reporting those.
In the forms of tax loopholes
Yeah.
and of all kinds of things. Yeah, no. So I wrote today, I shared a link from NPR reporting on Virginia's reported teacher hotline that started at the beginning of the Republican Youngkin administration, saying, tell us if teachers are teaching something woke. They had to shut that down in Virginia quietly. They had to walk it back because people did exactly what you
Yes.
said, how they've used it for other purposes. And so guess what? That is my new little Schadenfreude daily act of resistance, if you
Mhm.
will. And I am not alone. Almost every other comment on there is to the same effect. There are a
Yeah.
few let's go MAGA, dumb comments, but it is absolutely the minority. And it brings me
And
life.
it's like, what does that mean? Let's go MAGA. What does that mean?
I know. I'm summarizing it, I'm
No,
sure.
I
Yeah,
know,
I
but it's
know.
like that there's like a cultish mentality that exists around that, right? And even as people are experiencing the fallout for their decisions, it's like, what are we going toward? Like what is this let's go? We're dismantling systems that millions of people benefit from, and I'm sure you benefit from one of them.
Guaranteed.
You
It's a
know,
matter of
it's
time.
just a matter of time. And one of the systems that everybody benefits from is just like the labor of migrant workers.
Mhm.
Right? You guys
Mhm.
are we're wondering about the cost of all of our food. We have bird flu still running rampant. We had our first death in measles of a school-age child in Texas who was not vaccinated. We have a measles outbreak that is like happening. There's a new COVID in China.
Mhm.
The medical places can't report things, so there's lots of other associations and things. If you are interested in knowing of the different kind of things as a parent or as a person that are going around, the different flus and recalls of food and all kinds of stuff. There are lots of medical professionals and medical associations that are sharing that information. So I would encourage you to follow some of those, and we can link some
Yep.
in our show notes. Um, but
Yeah, epidemiologists that are
y-
posting professionally
yes.
on their own accounts to share what's
Yes,
happening so you
same
can
kind
stay
of thing
informed.
happening with lawyers. Immigration attorneys are now taking to social media to like help clarify what's going on with people's statuses and like what your rights are if you are a green card holder, if you're not a green card holder, like all kinds of if you're here on a work visa, if you know are police allowed or ICE agents allowed to look through your phones and just sharing all different levels of information. And so, if there are things that are happening that could directly be impacting you because of these executive orders, part of the community that we're encouraging you to create are also those kinds of people, the doctors, the attorneys, the people who are positioned to help interpret what what the executive orders are allowing and won't allow, and what the laws still say, because the laws have not changed. These executive orders have not actually changed the laws. They have activated behaviors, but they haven't
Mhm.
necessarily changed the laws, right? So being connected to the people who are helping to interpret the law, help you understand what your rights still are, strategies to navigate around ICE intimidation. Like Amazon, I think I saw, yeah, Amazon is selling ICE jackets,
Yeah, people have been
and people have
impersonating
been
ICE
impersonating ICE,
officers
and those
to
people should
intimidate
all be
people.
arrested, right?
Absolutely.
That's a crime.
Yeah.
Impersonating an
An
impersonating a
officer, you can't
federal
do that.
officer is a crime. So all those people should be arrested. And we should be seeing all those live stream videos,
Mm.
right?
I think the point is, though, is not to comply ahead of time,
Yes,
right?
exactly. Don't
There
comply in
is no
advance.
reason. Yep. Do not comply in advance. First of all, how wild that we don't even know if these people are real officers, right? You see the woman from Idaho who got pulled out of a public meeting.
And nobody did anything.
Nobody did anything, and
It was a
there was never a badge shown. It was a private security company hired by that public speaker, the person who held public office. All kinds of problems with this. Do not comply and resist as much as possible ahead of time. I think they're banking on us being afraid and getting small,
And that
right?
was an
Take your power
example of
back.
what that was. That was
Mm,
horrible.
it
That
was
was a
horrible.
room full of fucking people who allowed that woman to get ripped. She was literally fighting for her life. She was holding on to the bench. She was kicking. She was pleading for help. And a room full of people literally did nothing and let her get dragged out. Meanwhile, that is assault,
Hmm.
attempted kidnapping. Like, they're breaking all of these laws. And because we don't want to push certain people, not we, because you don't want to push out of your comfort and you're willing to comply with crimes happening by people who you assume to be authorities, you're letting this woman's rights literally get violated in your face in public without a problem. This is how Nazis took the fuck over
In 30 days.
in 30 days. Because you could sit there and we can watch a woman get dragged out of a room and put into zip ties, and everyone is watching.
Hmm.
No one else was willing to put their body on the line to interrupt that horrendous event.
I saw a video following up on this and I thought I loved it. She said, "Listen, I say this with every feminist bone in my body. Men, we need you to put your bodies in the way." Right? She's not saying, "Oh, poor me, we can't," but she's saying, if you want to be an ally in this moment in time,
Yes,
come on, use that bigger
there are
size, would you
when
please?
3 men are manhandling a woman, yes, men, we need you to put your bodies in the way. It was 3 men pulling and tugging at her as she's trying to hold on to a bench to not get dragged away to who the fuck knows where.
Yeah, it's the yeah, yeah. Well, and you think what we are taught as girls, if you always fight your attacker, you never
Yes,
comply because the next place they're going to take you to is never safer than the first
exactly.
place. So make them do it to you in public.
Yes.
right? And have people should be standing up. That was
That
wild.
was wild.
It was wild.
But that's also a indication of the time that we're in. So even in your rage in that room with the congressional leader who's at the front of the room, even in your rage, you still allowed that to happen to somebody who also shared your rage.
Mm. Hmm. Yeah, you were afraid of being aligned with her for fear that you were next, as opposed to realizing the critical mass of the people in the room could have done something to shift that altogether.
That part. And so instead, silence. And what do we say? Silence is violence. And we literally watched it.
Hmm. Yeah, don't get quiet ahead of time. Don't get small ahead of
I
time.
was
These
so
executive orders hold not much weight.
sorry, just as an aside, as a Black woman, if y'all white people will let that happen to one of your own white people, what do you think you would let happen to me? What would I think you would let happen to me?
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, it's not confidence inspiring, is it?
Not at all. Not at all. And that's why so many of us are sitting down.
Mm. I'm moving to self-protection.
Mhm. Because it's like obvious, it's out on display that no one is going to do it. So we have to sit down, protect ourselves and protect each other. Because y'all just let that white lady get dragged right on out of there. And she's one of y'all.
Mm. I think everyone else wanted to use their proximity to whiteness to protect themselves as opposed to use it for trouble, use it for good trouble.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're all recording. But nobody is intervening.
Mm.
Like, no. That was very disappointing. Particularly since it was already a raging space. And then to find out that that sheriff has been targeting her for a long time, and there's all this
Because she ran for
that
office
she
and
ran for
lost,
office, and so
and he
there's
saw her as the threat.
history around it too, which made her more of a target already before she even opened her mouth in the space. And she had no allyship, no accomplices, just bystanders. That's terrible. We have to do better, people. We just do. We have to do better. We can't just watch while it burns down. It's like we have to come together. We can't watch while a woman is getting dragged out of a room because she's saying, "Where are our First Amendment rights?" Right? Because she's saying something that you don't agree with. We're going to let her get dragged out of a room and kidnapped? Like, we need to be talking about it like that. She was assaulted and kidnapped by a private security firm.
For doing nothing wrong, nothing illegal.
Right, at a town hall meeting.
Speaking up in a public forum
Which
that was
I
inviting
was
comment.
inviting comment
Just not that comment.
from you.
Mm-hmm.
And so if we continue to let them decide who's allowed to speak and who isn't allowed to speak, that's how they are maintaining control. And if we're not willing to put ourselves in between the rights of each other to support each other's rights, then that's how they maintain control, with your silence. Angela also Brooks was sharing about the fact that she's a Maryland, recently appointed or recently
Senator?
elected Maryland senator.
Mm-hmm.
And she was talking about how some of her Republican counterparts in hallway conversation don't agree with some of the stuff that's going on, but when they get into the room, they're voting in support of it. And I'm sitting there thinking, that's uninspiring and disheartening that people are being such cowards. Like, they can't even stand on their own principles in public.
I think a lot of it, again, are you talking specifically about elected officials in this case? Is that what she was
That's what she was
referencing? Her
referencing.
Senate
Yeah, her
colleagues?
Senate colleagues.
Yeah. So these folks are afraid because they think I'm going to lose my job because I'm going to get primaried or Elon Musk is going to fund a campaign of my competitors, right? But is this really the world? Is this the legacy you want to leave?
And
Like, history is going to be so unkind to these people.
isn't your job to be there making decisions on on behalf of of your constituency? Isn't that your job?
Oh yeah, but
So
that's
it's
but
like so
mm,
just that mindset of like, "Oh, I'm gonna lose my job or I'm gonna be targeted and I'm gonna lose this seat," is a supreme, entitled, privileged mindset.
absolutely.
And so but your job is to speak on behalf of the people who elected you.
Yeah, that's the job in theory, but the job in practice is about getting famous, getting your 15 minutes of fame, having your sound bites, getting a
Yeah.
following, and benefiting from proximity to power.
Yeah.
I mean, let's just acknowledge that, right? If you're
Mm,
right, if just as written, this is what my goal is. My goal is to lift up the voices of the people I serve in my district. Sure, great, but the truth is, there's so much corruption in these systems that is a lower on the list of priorities
yeah.
task.
It's like I just wanna go be somewhere that, it's, like, not always fighting, right? Like, Martin Luther
Mm.
King gave a speech, and one of the lines in it was basically like, "I'm tired of marching for what should have been mine at birth. I'm tired of fighting and marching and advocating for what should have been mine." Like, why do we have to be out here marching? Why do we have to be out here getting hosed? Why do we have to be scared of people taking us away? Why do I have to have a plan, an exit plan? Why do I feel like I need to purchase firearms so I can protect myself now? This is supposed to be land of the free. Free for whom? It's like,
Mhm.
I'm tired. I want to just be able to be somewhere where I can just like be.
Exist. All the phlegm in the throat. Go. Get it. Ah.
Ah,
Ah.
you know, it's just like, yeah. And that place isn't here. And it would be nice if it was.
Since this is the place of your birth, the place of your citizenship, the place of all the things.
Yeah.
I
It
know.
would be really nice to um not feel like, we talk about this. I live where I live for a reason, right? In the community that I live in for a reason. Um, but it would just be nice for everywhere to be like it, right? Like,
Mhm.
it's like I drove from Arizona to DC like 12 years ago, and I had never been pulled over before in my life. I got pulled over in Oklahoma and
Mm.
Arkansas. And in Arkansas, they wanted to search my vehicle.
What? You've never shared this with me before.
In Oklahoma, I got pulled over for changing lanes too close to the vehicle that was behind me. Those white lines that are on the highway?
Mhm.
There's supposed to be at least 3 of those. This is what the officer told me. There's supposed to be at least 3 of those between you and the vehicle in which you're changing lanes in front of. And so there were only 2 when I changed lanes, and so that's why I was pulled over.
I'd like to see that in code, please. Bullshit. That's crazy. And you were how old?
I was
You were in your
29.
20s.
Mhm. And I was like, when the Arkansas officer asked if he could search my vehicle, I was like, "No.
Why would I let you? Why should I?
Why are you asking?
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
pulling me over because we were going 4 miles per hour over the speed limit, and you're asking
Mm.
to search my vehicle?"
Abso-fucking-lutely not. Mm.
Like, that's that kind of stuff, right? What? 3 lines? What the fuck are you even talking about? It's like, can't be. I can't just be. Can't just be driving through Oklahoma, can't just be driving through Arkansas, can't just be. And this was 12 years ago. So now, like, people are marching through D.C. with Nazi flags
Swastikas.
and
Yep.
swastikas.
It's
Elon
so much
Musk
more
is...
emboldened.
It's...
I know. Which is why you need to sit down and protect yourself.
Yeah. But then there's little things like that make me happy because, you know, you heard about the black church in D.C. that was vandalized?
Oh my God. Yes. Say it.
You say
Go
it.
ahead.
You say it.
Black church in DC got vandalized by the Proud Boys. And I don't know what the...
They wanted... There was a settlement agreement.
Oh, and as part of the settlement agreement, they got the rights to the name of Proud Boys?
They didn't pay the settlement. And so because they said they didn't have any money, basically. So
Proud Boys said they didn't have any money.
So
they went after the use of their name.
Yep. And they were awarded it. It's like, that's okay. We'll just make money off your name.
We'll fund our repairs from your
Yeah.
attempts to harm us.
And
Yeah, I'll take that.
watching all of the people who were pardoned for the insurrection,
January 6th.
get rearrested for other shit because they're vile human beings.
Yeah, that. Child porn. Go ahead, lock that one back up.
Attempted rape.
Attempted murder.
Attempted murder.
Go ahead, head on back.
Because y'all elected a criminal. And his criminal friends are doing criminal things. And because he is in the seat that he's in, he doesn't have the same... He's not affected the same way. But y'all are just people who got arrested the first time and now are getting arrested again because you're vile.
And remember, and he doesn't care about you. He doesn't care about you. He wanted an army of loyalists to do his bidding, which is why he pardoned you. But now you're on your own.
Yeah.
And he does not care about you.
Literally making deals in the Oval Office about personal things. Just like, yeah, we're Trump Gaza.
If you haven't seen this, it was posted by Donald Trump's official account. It was AI generated images of his vision for what Gaza will be when he can develop it and make money from it.
Which was just a modified version of AI generated images that have already been circulating from companies that have been trying to sell settlements, right? So they had already like created some AI generated videos of what the beach landscape and all that stuff would look like. So it's like his touch on it, right? With all the gold, gaudy Trump things. At one point,
with his ugly fucking face.
At one point, there's like a small person, a child, walking through this environment holding a balloon that is Trump's face and head.
In gold.
In gold. A gold balloon. Yeah. So in the meantime, it's like the little things, right? It's like staying connected, staying focused. I feel like we've talked about this before. Staying connected is staying focused on the things that matter. The little joys, the snuggles, the coaching through heartbreak and binge watching a show to make things, feel a little bit better.
Sitting in our jammies with our girlfriends and laughing our butts off.
Yeah, like we're doing...
Getting on a call and checking in with each other.
Yes. Fat Tuesday is coming up, or March 4th is Fat Tuesday, and as many of you know, we have an annual crawfish boil here, and usually that season kicks off around Mardi Gras. And so we ordered some crawfish for the weekend, and it's just going to be us chilling and enjoying because like that's just something that we like to do together. Checking in on people, all the things. I don't know. It's like I really just feel tired in my body and my bones and my brain.
But energy spent towards connection and joy is resistance too.
And is rejuvenating too.
Yes.
Right?
Heather Cox Richardson put up, who's wonderful, a historian. If you don't follow her, you should. But she posted something recently that said, one of the key ingredients for authoritarians to take over is an environment in which people feel fear and sorrow. But if there is joy, authoritarians can't take over.
Yeah.
Right? And so if you find ways to pursue joy, to live your best life in community with other people,
Yeah.
It can't touch you, right? Like in so many ways, like they can't take that from you,
Yeah.
right? And people will listen to someone who tells them what to do when they are afraid when they've gotten small, when they have not reclaimed their power.
My concern, though, is that it's happening so broadly already, right? There's like
Mhm.
so many. The town hall is such a perfect example.
Yeah.
That is like, we let a.
I think, Corey, you're right. And I think it probably depends upon environment, right? If it's a place that's already deep red Trump area and they're buying in hook, line, and sinker despite the cognitive dissonance and what they're seeing before their eyes, maybe people are less likely to
Maybe.
speak back, right? But I've also seen superintendents who say ICE is not allowed in my building, in
Yes.
our buildings. I see it. I see both reactions in
So
pockets.
here's the difference of the two things that we're describing is what you're seeing. What we observed with that woman being dragged out is like the active in the face of active authoritarian oppression, like active physical authoritarian oppression. People
And threat.
did nothing. And so what we're seeing is like people are that collection of voice, like the superintendents, right? They talk to their school board, they talk to their staff, they talk to their principals, and that message is supported by a collective,
Mhm.
right? Which makes it easier
To
to
resist.
resist because you
Mhm.
already have that collective. And so I want to see people create a collective in the moment when collective is necessary,
Yeah.
right?
What would that have looked like? How could that have gone down differently
Yeah.
if everyone stood up
It stood
around
up
her and
around
said
her.
no?
Absolutely not. Take your hands off of her. What has she done? She is speaking truth to power. She is leveraging her First Amendment right. Take your hands off of her. If other people had stood up and put their bodies in the way, like she is not, this is a town hall. We were invited here to speak up. Get your hands off of her. She was just speaking.
Mhm. Yeah, you've gotta go through me to get to her.
You have to go through us
Mhm. That's right. That's
to
right.
get to her. You have to go through
All of
all of
us.
us. Not
That's the piece that
not
was
all
missing.
of us just watching. What's happening there? No. 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 And that is an indication that the control is already embedded and taking place. Right? It's like, "Oh, this feels so uncomfortable, but I don't want to be.
I don't
I
wanna
don't
yeah,
I
I
don't
wanna
wanna
stay
I
polite. I
don't
wanna follow the
follow the
rules, keep
rules." Yeah,
order.
yeah. Ugh. But if it were you, you would want somebodies
Lots of bodies.
to intervene.
Hmm.
So that's to me one of the differences, right? It's like in the ways that it's showing up is it's one is a more strategic voice
And it's also
that
proactive as opposed to
and
reactive, right? Like
proactive,
that
right?
superintendent had a moment to gather his people, to galvanize, to make a
Exactly.
statement, to announce versus in the moment. Well,
Mhm.
then we gotta get more ready for that, don't we?
Exactly. That's where we're at. It's like we have to
Yeah.
be more ready for in the moment because there's more and more of that, where people are trying to rip ICE is trying to rip people from their families and out of vehicles and things like that, right? Like private security is zip tying and carrying people out of town hall meetings. Like we
And on
have
a
to be
smaller scale
more ready.
sorry, we are very wanting to chat together at the same time. Sometimes the Zoom does not work well for us, right? This delay. So I apologize. But like sometimes it's like, hey, I just heard a racist comment. Hey, I just like it may not be that you may not have an opportunity today to stop an ICE agent, but you may have an opportunity today to say, excuse me, what did you mean by that?
Right.
That was not appropriate.
Yes, to stop someone from harassing people.
Yes.
Right? There's a clip, and it's not a new clip, but it's like a white lady interrupting another white lady harassing some Latino folks. And she's like, "You need to stop. Get out of here. You need to leave. No, they need to leave. No, you need to leave. You are not going to stand here and talk to them like that and harass them because of what you perceive them to be. Get out of here. And she yelled her out of the store.
She used her
And
privilege. She was, yep.
gained zero from it except for the fact that she's protected some people who needed her to be the person to intervene, to stand between. Because the two white ladies, there's not going to be a victim, right? It's harder to play that, oh, I was attacked.
Mm-mm.
And
You
she
cut that right
cut
off.
that right off. That's a way to leverage your privilege, to be an accomplice. It's like, she didn't know those people, but she saw what was happening was wrong. And she did something. And she went on about her business.
Yeah, this is our moment. This is our moment. That phrasing, if you wonder what you would have done during civil rights, if you wonder what you would have done during the Holocaust,
You're doing it.
we don't have to wonder now. This is our time. And let that not defeat you or make you wallow in the fact like, oh gosh, I guess I'm not as brave as I thought I was. Let that inspire you.
And come up with some strategies for yourself of what you do. Be ready. It's like, for example, if you're seeing some sort of profiling that's taking place and people are being treated badly because of their perceived racial background, their perceived immigration status, their perceived race. Did I say race already?
I don't know.
Ethnic background,
I
whatever.
had Unisom.
Yeah,
I had
right?
Unisom.
Who knows?
I'm here for you. I'm listening.
But like whatever perceived identities that are there, it's like, have a script for yourself. Like what you said, Laura. Excuse me, what did you mean by that? Or that was very harmful, or that was inappropriate. Or
that's hate speech, and I don't want to hear that again.
And I don't want to hear that again.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, that's one of the things I think I learned at our last employer, probably from a training you put together, was this idea of being ready. Here are things that you can pull out really quick in a meeting. When I feel, me, white person speaking up, right? I'm not going to speak on behalf of the person who's been microaggressed, but I'm going to say, I feel very uncomfortable with you making that kind of a comment.
Yeah.
Well, what did you mean
by that? Mm-hmm.
And make them slow it down.
Yeah. Yes.
But anyway, that preparation is a huge part of that.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
You always think afterwards, man, the things I wish I would have said. Think about it now.
Yes.
Think about it now. Put a note in your phone.
Yes.
Look at it.
Mm-hmm.
Be ready.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And when you are planning to go to your town hall, be ready. Have a conversation with other people who are going to be there with you. And it's like, we saw something horrible happen to somebody at a town hall meeting. So what are we going to do if a situation like that presents itself in front of us?
That's right. Use this as your practice moment.
Use it as your practice moment.
What did they do wrong in Idaho that you would do differently?
Yes.
What's your plan?
Yes. And what are the questions? Who are you? Let me see your ID. Again, ways to slow it down, right? That's kidnapping, calling it what it is. That is assault, right? Please take your hands off of her. That is assault. Somebody is recording. Several people are putting their bodies in the way.
This is a town hall that is inviting feedback.
Yes.
You are denying her participation in a public forum.
Exactly.
That kind of thing.
That sort of thing.
And then that gets in the recording too, which then
right.
kind of, yes, these are good things.
These are good things. It's like one of the challenges, it's like we say all the time, you can't fall into despair. And so one of the best ways is preparation. And don't assume that you won't find yourself in that situation, right? That is one of the things that we do to cope, right? It's like, oh, we say all the time.
That didn't happen here.
Yeah.
It was somewhere else.
Yeah, it would never happen here. But the people that it happens to are like, I never would believe that it would happen here. It happens everywhere. So let's assume that it might happen here. And if it does, in this climate especially, what are we going to do? Right? What am I going to do? It goes back to what we were talking about in our last pod about, sharing the responsibility, right? Finding your people and sharing the responsibility. I feel comfortable using my voice. So I am happy to be sure that I'm a lawyer. I know the laws. So I will be the person who's touting what the violations are that are taking place that I'm observing as they are taking place. You be recording so you can hear those verbalizations out loud and that the fact that we are interrupting and are trying to intervene. Here are our three men that are going to be willing to intervene with their bodies, and here is what their script should be.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Right? We were invited here to speak. It is our First Amendment right to communicate with our elected representative.
Yeah.
Right?
So, Kori, maybe what it is when instead of seeing these headlines and internalizing them or getting so paralyzed by fear, let's use each and every one of these examples as a chance for us to practice.
Yes. Because
That's what it
the
is.
practice is going to show up at our doorstep. Like, we're going to have to use it. So be ready. If you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. Right? It's like, and we've been ready for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So now y'all need to be ready. So get ready. And some of that conversation with your trusted spaces in this community centers is
The centers of
the
community,
centers of
is that where you find them?
community is to just like talk out some of the things, some of the possibilities and what people will do, what we can do, and engage with law enforcement, engage all the resources that are available. People who are there, law enforcement officials should not be combatives, right? They should not be, this is not the Wild West. Okay, this is not a movie. You can't just be lawless. What that happened there, that was lawlessness. Right? That takes you back to slave catcher days, how the police originated. Right? These are just people out here who hate blacks, who are happy to round them up as property. And those same ideologies still exist in our policing system today. Right? The less than, all of those ideologies are still embedded in that.
Mm-hmm.
And so we need to be naming them and interrupting them when we are seeing them. Collectively. There were just too many people in that room for that to have happened to that woman. Too many people.
Agree.
And that is horrifying. And so we have to do better. So when we're showing up at our town halls, we need to have a plan.
Get ready. What is it? Be ready so you don't have to get ready.
You stay ready. You don't
I
have
don't
to
know.
get
That was my
ready.
white girl take on that. I liked yours much better. You had all the right intonation and cuteness in that.
Yeah, so it's like, let's stay ready. Let's use some of our time to rejuvenate, to prepare, to have a sense of like how we would intervene with our voices. If we see something, if we see somebody else advocating, don't just walk away like, oh yeah, well they got it. No,
Join them.
join them. Bear witness. Be an upstander, not a bystander. It's like we wonder why our kids don't know how to be upstanders. That's why.
Yeah.
Because we're
Let's show
not
'em.
showing them. I thought that the people being outside of USAID yesterday was really a beautiful gesture to demonstrate the appreciation for the work that those people did. So, there was like a mass firing at
Mhm.
USAID. They had 15 minutes to go in there and get their belongings. And so people were just like pouring out of the building, and there was a group of people outside who was cheering them on, who was applauding them, like holding signs, the work you do is so important, like being there as supportive voices, right?
Mhm.
To acknowledge the significant harm that this is causing, not only the people whose jobs have been lost, but also all the work that
Mhm.
those people were supporting and advancing throughout the world.
Yeah, it's saying we see you and acknowledge that.
Yeah, yeah. And that was a really nice gesture of love and compassion and support.
So it sounds
Yeah,
like we got homework.
we have a lot.
A lot of homework. But one of our pieces for this between now and the next pod. So last pod, it was about finding your community centers or finding out places. What do you care about? And finding organizations that are already impacting change in that space and connecting with them. Subscribing to a newsletter, making a recurring donation, whatever it is. This week's homework is start to run by some of these scripts. Think about
Mhm.
what's going to happen when you go to a board meeting and there's a challenge like there was in Idaho. Think about what's going to happen when you see someone in public saying something that might have been swept under the rug about 4 years ago, but now has been emboldened.
Mhm.
Think about what you're going to do when someone in your community is impacted by federal cuts to probationary workers or a contract being
Or
canceled by the
contract
federal
being canceled.
government. Because let me tell you, I have people in my life this has happened.
A bunch of them.
A whole bunch.
This is like all my work.
All the work, yeah.
All of the work I have done in my career has been impacted by this 30 days of this administration. Or not even 30 days.
Between the focus on DEI and being supported by the federal government. Both the funding source and your topic, your content expertise have been hit. So be ready. Get ready. But damn it, say it. Say it cute. What'd you say?
Stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
There you go. Stay ready.
Stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
And if you're struggling, reach out to us. Let us know. I want to practice this. How do I do that? Maybe we can put together some scripts.
Yeah.
Let's do that. We'll put something on the website before the next one comes out too. But something where you can have some things in your back pocket ready to roll. Save the photo, save the slide, and use it.
Yeah.
All right. That sounds like a good place to stop for today.
That does.
Doesn't it? Yes.
Yep.
Folks, thanks for joining us for Pushing Past Polite.
Keep pushing past polite, please.
Yeah.
That's what happened in Idaho. Nobody was pushing past polite. That's what happened.
Yeah, excuse me. Oh, let's let this guy through. Let's let the officer through.
Yes.
The non-officer through.
No one pushed past polite.
Mm.
And we have to push past polite if we are going to resist a coup and if we are going to resist a hostile takeover of our democracy. We cannot be polite about it. So thank you for listening to Pushing Past Polite and to carrying that fire into your spaces to fight for justice, because we are really here trying to talk about what matters and make the world more just.
Yes. We were reflecting how we started this podcast in 2020, which was much more, no, not 2020. Hasn't been that long. Sorry. In the Biden administration, when people, I think, falsely thought, I can take a breather. We survived Trump. Let's take a breather. And now this is particularly relevant. We're back. We're out of the frying pan into the fire. And
the fire's hotter and it's deeper and it's bigger because it's like the strategy was refined. You know,
this is the perfect moment to practice this. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thanks for listening. Way to stretch yourselves, and please, please, please think about ways that politeness is not serving you and the cause of justice, and how you can antagonize injustice in more ways. How about that?
I like that.
I like that. We're gonna sign off.
I got my antagonizing justice sticker on the back.
I see you. I'll see you. Thanks, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Pushing Past Polite. We encourage you to go deeper in your trusted spaces and find new space for good conversation.
You'll find episodes, transcripts, and lots of other goodies at our website, pushingpastpolitepodcast.com. You can also connect with us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Pushing Past Polite.
Pushing Past Polite is an independent podcast with Kori and Laura from Just Educators.
Our cover art was designed by Rachel Welsh DeEga of DeEga Designs, and our audio is produced by Keith at Headset Media. Until next time, don't get stuck talking about the weather. Push past polite.
See you next time.
Bye-bye.
Jay, you did perfect.